Grim Dawn Community League Season 2 will be live February 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and will end April 17th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
Welcome in, guys. I hope you are as hyped as I am for Grim Dawn League Season 2 starting in a couple of days. And you might be wondering which build to go for as your first league starter character. So here are my top 5 league starter builds. Note that these are no particular order and they will all have their individual strengths and weaknesses. So out of these top 5 builds, I would very much suggest you to pick whichever you think is suited best for yourself, for your own playstyle, which one you enjoy the most, and not care too much about the small strengths, weaknesses, all that much. Season 2 comes with both returning challenges from Season 1, as well as new challenges and even new super bosses. Technically, you can do all of those challenges on one character, but since also the tiebreaker this time around is going to be via points per shard conquered in Shadow Realm after SR 80, you might want to start the season with a solid main campaign farmer and then use that one to farm up gear for all your consecutive SR pusher or super boss killer characters, right? Especially on hardcore, where, well, if you lose a character to, say, one of the new super bosses which you haven't fought ever before, then yeah, you're gonna feel bad not having a character to fall back on. So here we'll show you my top 5 league starters, which are both fast and easy for leveling, as well as very strong and quick for farming items and crafting materials in the main campaign, while having little to no gear requirements themselves. The Vire Smite Skater Oathkeeper is an obvious choice for a starter character, since it is very quick for leveling with Azeroth Resonance offhand and the Skybreaker's Circlet, and probably the quickest at farming main campaign crafting mats as well as dungeons, due to the sheer speed and stacking fire damage that Vire Smite's Volcanic Stride offers. On top of that, the Vanquisher set is one of the few point awarding items from Season 2, so you wanna farm it anyway, and it's the perfect fit for any Skater build. Skater Oathkeeper works well as a Templar, the classic Skater build with Arcanist Secondary, a Shipbreaker, which has better innate synergy than a Templar, which is like the Evolutionist Secondary, but it is not quite as well supported by the Vanquisher set for Endgame as the Templar. And also it works as a Sentinel or even as a Paladin, with Occultist and Inquisitor just being pretty much the best generic support masters in the game. On top of being such an efficient mat, gear and point farmer, Vanquisher Skaters can even be used to clear decent SR shards and some of the super bosses, even Kalagadra, at least if you have the, well, over an hour patience like MrMonday, who was the first to kill Kala in Season 1. I also have a solo self-found beginner series Templar, which you can check out on YouTube as well, at least up to level 89, that's when I died, but you can still follow it at least for leveling up to level 89, and I also have the how to level a Oathkeeper guide as well on YouTube that you could check out as well, if you're interested in playing a build like this. I will probably play a Shebreaker Vire Smite Oathkeeper myself as well as my first starter character for the league. Next up we got the speedy dual wield Nightblades, which bring great mobility and great single target damage to the table, which is exceptionally good for quick leveling, quick dungeon clearing, as well as crafting mat farming. You can pick Oathkeeper secondary for acid damage and combine that with Kanaraka Sting, or Soldier for piercing damage with their Arterian Swords and the faction item Redeemer of Marmouth. And then you will have a charm with up to 3 movement abilities with the Rune Augment, making zooming around the maps the easiest of tasks. In all honesty though, all of the other Nightblade combinations are able to fulfill the role of a quick campaign farmer very well as well, with Code, Spellbreakers, Reapers, Tricksters and Infiltrators using for example Malkadar Swords or Chill Strives, Acid or Chaos Witch Hunters, or even Aether Reapers being not really much slower than Dervish or Blademaster. Even Saboteur, a class pretty much memed on since the dawn of Grim Dawn, can fulfill the role of a quick main campaign farmer with solo self-found gear nicely now thanks to all the new awesome MIs from the last couple of patches, such as for example Gaze Lance's Mark or Nabadea's Horns. The big weakness of these dual wield Nightblades, however, is that to be able to kill the super bosses like Kalagadra and Creative Entertainment at least, or for some also Ravager, you need to be ridiculously skilled, and even somebody like for example Nfeel was just barely able to kill Creative Entertainment on his Dervish, and was almost able to kill Kalagadra as well, but unfortunately failed pretty much in the last second due to a random tornado or sand hitting him, I don't even know. But yeah, that was pretty sad, but you can certainly do even super bosses on these dual wield Nightblades if you, well, have the skill and the balls. For Shadow Ram pushing, I wouldn't say these are like the best to go to deepest shards, but you can still like take them to a reasonable amount, and also probably use them nicely for the SR 50 on Ultimate challenge before level 75. Like up to shard 60 or 75 even should be pretty much easily doable on these Nightblades, as for example Reyna22 has shown us multiple times with all of his like 85 to 90 or 80 to 85 SR pushes. If you are interested in playing a dual-wield Nightblade, you can check out my how to level a Nightblade guide on YouTube here, or for example my Spellbreaker guide alongside its beginner solo Sephound playthrough, as well as my solo Sephound Dovish racing character that I used for the SR 50 challenge with 9 bells. Pet builds, especially Pet Conjurer and to a certain degree also Ritualists and Kabbalists, are a top tier Grim Dawn starter, also for League Season 2. This should be no surprise unless you got debated by certain Reddit and forum threads which tell people that pets are dead. Spoiler, they're not. And most of them are even stronger and easier to build on a fresh start now compared to before. Pet builds used to be somewhat gear and especially set dependent, but patch 1.1.9 buffed the base stats of the pets, nerfed some of the sets, but also buffed most of the non-set items for pets. Overall, pets are even stronger while leveling, and also with solo Sephound gear now. And for pushing high shards in Ultimate, Shadow Ram, they are still like ahead of 99% of other reasonable builds, as for example AlkamosHater and Ulvar have shown on the forums. I am by no means a pet expert myself, so I can't really talk much about pets here, but I can link some of the guides down below in the description, and I can tell you that Talerx played a pet build in Season 1 as well, which basically phase rolled all the content including super bosses. Forcewave. I don't think there's ever been a Grim Dawn patch when this ability wasn't suggested to beginners as one of the best starter abilities in the game. And that also is true for the League. It is great while leveling with Obsidian Cleavers or pretty much any physical two-hander really, and it's also great endgame. And its best in slot weapon, the mythical Stunfisk Rebuke, basically drops like candy anyway, so it's easy to play, it is medium ranged, so you can pretty much kite all content if you obwalk perfectly, as for example Melagant has shown us when he killed Karagauder and his Battle Mage, or also a couple of other people, like for example Rootgirds have shown while killing Ravager.
Yay! Only took an hour and 5 minutes to kill him. Only took an hour and 5 minutes.
I know multiple people have used Forcewave as a Season 1 starter to great success, and I see no reason why this should be any different for Season 2. You can nicely combine a physical Forcewave Soldier with Necromancer, Oathkeeper, Occultist, and Arcanist. Yes, even Arcanist is good. Very good actually, especially for hardcore. It might not be the best damage-wise, but believe me, for some super bosses it is actually insane to have some quality of life in the form of like Magnification and Mirror of Reactors. If you want to play a Forcewave Soldier yourself, you can still follow my kind of old but still up-to-date how to level a soldier guide. Also check out some of my speed leveling videos, for example for a Tactician that I did recently, or for a Battle Mage that I did a couple of months ago, or also the Deathmar that I did even longer time ago. But yeah, there should be like lots of Forcewave leveling content for you to check out if you are interested in playing a Forcewave Soldier yourself. For endgame you can always check out the build compendium on the forums, or also check out Melagant's Battle Mage he did recently as well, which he also pushed all the way to Kalagaja, so that's a pretty good build I would say. If you were to go back to the days of the Ashes of Mammoth expansion in late 2017/early 2018 and looked at the top 10 builds from back then, you would probably find at least 9 Spellbinders in that list. Spellbinder is the go-to choice for anything Aether damage, apart from ranged. Wanna play Aether melee? Go Spellbinder. Wanna play Aether casting speed based caster? Go Spellbinder. Wanna play Aether CDR caster? Definitely go Spellbinder. Now why Spellbinders are good? Well, this short but excellent guide by Banana Peel on how to win in Grim Dawn basically sums it up perfectly. In all seriousness though, the exceptional innate Aether synergy between Arcanist and Necromancer, the synergy between their defensive skills, Mirror of Eructus and Mark of Torment on one hand, and cooldown reduction and devotions like Hourglass on the other hand, as well as lots of green target farmable monster frequents to choose from, make this one of the most flexible and starter-friendly class in the game. Some MIs like Ungorix's Emunot even allow Vitality variants to shine. The class does have quite a skill ceiling to get to at first, but once you get used to the defensive rotation of Mirror, Mark Formant, Reset with Hourglass, it will be hard for you to go back to anything but a binder in the future. I am currently working on a solo self-found beginner playthrough of a binder, so make sure to check that one out once it's released, and also check out the endgame guides for binders on the forum. As well as maybe the one binder that I made some time ago, which was the dual wield Theoden Scepter Kriegset binder, which is not too bad either. Of course, these top 5 builds aren't the only strong builds in the game, so I do want to get out some honorable mentions as well. First of all, Dark 1 Vitality Casters. These kind of builds should usually be in the top 5, or even at the top of this top 5 list, at least 4 builds that can do all the content easily on one character. However, Dark 1 set is not going to be target farmable in the League mod in Season 2, since it got removed from the target farmable pool and instead got put into the random drop pool. This means that Vitality Casters take a big hit when it comes to getting your endgame gear reliably together easily, and thus they fall off this list for me, as they aren't the fastest main campaign farmers without Dark 1 set either. Next up we have the damage over time / kiting / cooldown reduction casters, such as for example the Bomberman Demonitionists with Breakwater Cocktail, Canister Bomb, or Granado with for example Zarathus'ran's Archive or a Molten Claw Slicer, aiming for Uzuin's or Infernal Knight set for endgame. Totem and Wind Devil Shamans with the Wind Devil / Storm Totem monster frequents, such as Sigarius' Sacred Blade, the Yeti Horn, Agnenborg Storm Strife, as well as the Global Sky Effigy, with Light's Defender or the Dugan set as possible endgame choices. Chosen Arcanists with Spectral Bludgeon and Droll Teratus' Tome, aiming for example Chosen set for endgame. And even something like a Stormbox / Will of Pain Inquisitor with for example Alagas set could work nicely for this archetype, where your goal is to just constantly apply dots to the enemy while running around in the enemy in circles and following rule number 1, just don't get hit. I played a build that you could put into this category as well in Season 1. I played the Canister Bomb Sorcerer myself, which I used to clear all the content except for Kalagadra and Ravager to great success, so I can definitely recommend that one for sure. Very strong league characters can be done around retaliation damage, but they are horrible for leveling and they require a lot of gear to work properly, so I would never do this as a league starter, but it is a very good archetype for killing super bosses or pushing to high shards in the Shadow Realm, so I just do want to mention them here really quickly as a build that is gonna be very interesting for pretty much every league including Season 2. Despite the nerfs to retaliation builds in patch 1.1.9, they should still be very good for specific endgame content, such as, well, super bosses and high shards. I used the Acid Retaliation Witch Blade myself in Season 1 to kill Ravager and Kalagadra, which you can also check out in my Season 1 recap / highlight video. But wait, there's more. Since Season 2 brings us 3 new additional super bosses, I will give out prizes additionally to the prizes that Mike Fick has planned. I'm gonna put a prize on the head of each new super boss in the Hardcore Solo Self-Found League. The type and value of each prize is gonna be similar to Season 1's 3rd place prize. Oh yeah, and by the way, everybody who was involved with testing these bosses, so myself, Mike Fick, Serious Dan, and I believe also Armored Otter, are disqualified from this challenge. I'm gonna give you a couple of very short spoilers here. So good luck everybody, but don't forget, all the cheaters get banned. Mike Fick and Serious Dan have apparently some pretty nice tools in place to detect sand behavior. Anyway, thank you so much everybody for watching, and thank you for the support, and I'll see you around in Grundon League Season 2.